Hello, everybody. Welcome to our second annual Healthy Mom and Baby Pitch Competition. I'm Jolynn Succo, the Chief Innovation and Academic Officer for Parkview Health. And it's my privilege today to welcome you to our second annual pitch competition. I'm going to share a little bit about who we are at Parkview Health and why this competition is so important to us as the largest employer in our region. So Parkview Health, who is Parkview Health? We are a 10 hospital system in Northeast Indiana and Ohio. We have a 1,000-member provider group, a small health plan, a center for research and innovation, nearly 14,000 coworkers, and we're the largest employer in Northeast Indiana. We have numerous service lines, 10 service lines, and we provide primary all the way to tertiary care in our facilities, and we partner with key leaders, Cincinnati Children's, Cleveland Clinic, and MD Anderson for quaternary care for patients in our region. Innovation is critical and important to us, as is our relationships with startups. As I think about this competition and its role in our region and for Parkview, we like to give. We're a very giving organization, but we also receive a lot from this competition, and we grow our own capacity as an organization to stay nimble and in front of innovation within the industry. We're also a great lab for innovators. We have over 1 million patients with diverse disease states and all of the needs of a large $2 billion company. As I reflect on our winners from last year, one of whom you're going to hear about later in the presentation, they come from different areas, and we've learned and grown along with our winners. So with that, I'm going to turn it over to Steve Collins, the CEO of Matter, to talk a little bit more about Matter.
Well, thanks so much, Jolynn. We always appreciate the opportunity to work with you and your team, and appreciate the opportunity to help as you and your colleagues make Parkview such a leader in health innovation. As Jolynn mentioned, I'm Stephen Collins. I'm the CEO of Matter. We are a healthcare technology incubator and an innovation hub built on a belief that collaboration between entrepreneurs and industry leaders is the best way to develop healthcare solutions. We, love programs like this one, where we get to work closely with an innovative health system like Parkview. We get to work closely with really cutting-edge entrepreneurs to facilitate the development and the deployment of solutions that can improve health in meaningful ways. At Matter, we are all about accelerating the pace of change of healthcare. One of the things we do is incubate startups, and since we launched just shy of 7 years ago, we've worked with more than 650 companies, ranging from very early to growth stage startups, and we have a suite of services to help them at every stage of development. Our member companies have raised more than $2 billion to fuel their growth, and their solutions have benefited more than 300 million people around the world. We also work with large organizations like health systems, such as Parkview, life sciences companies, payers, to help them build their innovation capacity. We help them source and co-develop solutions and gain insights into the minds of their patients and the dynamics of the industry, and we have some training capabilities to help them develop their innovation capacity. And finally, we serve as a nexus for people who are passionate about healthcare innovation. We bring people together to be inspired and learn and connect with each other. And we produce a lot of programs, including large-scale events for the broader community, as well as small forums that are really exclusively for our members. This is the second year we've had the opportunity to work with Parkview on the Healthy Mom and Baby Innovation Competition. As a little backdrop, according to the Indiana Maternal Mortality Review Committee, 80% of pregnancy-associated deaths in 2019 were preventable. And it's numbers like this that called Parkview Health to action, and we've just been really proud to partner with them on sourcing solutions and ideas to help at-risk mothers. Last year, we worked with Parkview on the first iteration of the Healthy Mom and Baby Innovation Program, focused on solutions that improved both maternal and infant mortality rates in Indiana. Parkview continues to work with the top 3 solutions that Jolynn showed from last year's program. Therapy, a device that treats jaundice with phototherapy delivered through a wearable swaddle. Candlelit therapy, an app-based clinic and digital intervention that provides new and expectant parents of color with on-demand counseling. And then a spin-out actually from Parkview itself, the Safe Sleep program, which includes experiential learning to emphasize the importance of safe sleep practices among current or expectant infant caregivers. It's exactly the kind of outcomes that we hope for when we work with a partner on a program like this, and we've just been delighted with the results of last year's program and the opportunity to continue that work this year. The focus this year has been on solutions that reduce maternal mortality rates for underrepresented mothers, including mothers of color, mothers with lower socioeconomic status, mothers with the high school education or less. This challenge drew global participation. It's a problem that is not unique to Indiana or the United States. And you'll hear from solutions that are devices used in operating rooms to reduce the risk of C-sections, which have become the most common major surgery in the world. An end-to-end solution ensures the availability of high-quality maternal care for mothers in remote places, and a training solution for healthcare professionals and EMS staff that provides evidence-based education to ensure safe, quality care is provided to every woman all of the time. All told, we've received more than 100 applications from 9 countries around the world, with 11% of those applications coming specifically from Indiana-based companies. We, again, have really enjoyed the work we've done in 2021 and 2020, and we look forward to continuing to collaborate with Parkview in 2022 to address challenges facing the people of Indiana and Ohio and the country as a whole. Thanks from our team to the Parkview team, who's really been instrumental in the planning and execution of this challenge. Ethel Massing, Spencer Perkins, Charlotte Gabet in particular, who met with the teams every other week and arranged the meetings with various stakeholders and subject matter experts within Parkview. Thanks as well to all the judges of this year's final pitch day who spent their morning listening to pitches from outstanding 4 finalists and asked thought-provoking questions. And in just a moment, we're going to hear 8-minute pitches from the finalists. But before we do that, I'd like to pass it over to Charlotte Gabet, who's the director of Parkview Health's Innovation Group and Advanced Simulation Lab. She leads the team that trains medical professionals across the region and brings innovative healthcare solutions to the organization to improve patient outcomes. Prior to coming to Parkview, she's spent 8 years developing teams, which led to the growth of 6 startup companies spanning the globe, and we couldn't have asked for a better partner in this effort. Charlotte.
Thank you so much, Stephen. So as our team, we are responsible for running this innovation competition. So with this innovation competition, what is it? So our innovation competition is a 1-year series of 3 events. So first, we start with the Datapalooza. The goal of the Datapalooza is to drill down to a real issue by diving into utilizing that data. So from there, we actually take the issues we find and turn them into challenge statements to be solved during an innovation competition. So we select 3 to 5 companies to move forward to our accelerator program that then gives the pitch competition, which is our 3rd and final event, which we are doing today. So we wanted to continue to focus this year's competition on healthier moms and babies. The innovation competition focused on reducing maternal mortality. We were seeking products, softwares, programs, solutions that have the potential to reduce maternal mortality and improve the health and well-being of moms and babies. So we received over 50 applications from 7 countries all over the world. We selected 8 companies to present during our innovation competition, and then 4 of those companies move forward to our accelerator program. You will hear from these companies shortly. So the winner of the pitch competition will have the opportunity to partner with Parkview on a pilot study. Today, you will hear from these 4 companies and what pilot study they would like to partner with us on. So now I'm going to turn it over to Sam that will introduce our 4 companies for the finalist.
Thank you so much, Charlotte. With that, we will start the pitches. So Sentil, if you want to come on video, come off mute and share your slides, you are good to present.
Hello everyone, myself Senthil Kumar. I'm a co-founder and CEO of GeoVio Healthcare. We are a 5-year-old company based out of India. We have built this beautiful wearable device and a health platform to ensure that every mother is getting the personalized care throughout the pregnancy and post-pregnancy and baby care. So we have successfully monitored more than 3,400 plus mothers in India to ensure that the mother is getting their antenatal checkup in their home, and post-delivery, there is an ecosystem for the mother to feel that they are always connected to the health doctor or care provider. So our application and software ensure that mother is continuously monitored throughout the period, and there is a necessary educational information awareness shared to the mother through the application platform. And here we deployed the solution in a lot of underrepresented community in India. Most of the people were living in remote places. So the impact through our solution is we could ensure that everyone has a safer delivery, and the baby is very healthy post the delivery. And we could able to reduce both maternal mortality and neonate mortality in the region. Here I am carrying the a baby. Like this is the first pilot where we did in one of the tribal community in India. There's the baby born after our deployment. The entire village people gathered in that area, and they are holding a newborn baby from one hand to other hand. I even carried the baby. So the lady told me that this is the first time they could able to get more than 14 antenatal checkup and personalized nutrition program for them. And the baby weight is increased to 40% because of such a personalized experience. So the entire the village people are like experiencing the healthy baby, and they are first time they're seeing a baby smiling after that, and they could able to feel the weight. That's the impact the project created in India. So now as part of the Parkview program, we would like to replicate the same impact of safer, healthier mom and healthier baby in Indiana state. So in Indiana state, we found that 85% of deaths occurred during the postpartum. So most of the issues are after delivery, and 56% of deaths happen after 6 weeks of the delivery, and 80% of that deaths can be preventable. So most of the reason why the deaths are happening is the mothers are alone, and they are like after delivery they are getting that stress and depression, and there is no community ecosystem for them. In India, this problem is solved with the help of a proper community family engagement, and there is a program where the home visitors are always connected to the mother to ensure that they are not alone, they are with the ecosystem that psychologically improve their health. So in Indiana, we are trying to replicate the same model. In our model, there are 3 main customers. One is a health provider. With a health provider, we provide our digital solution where they could able to give such a personal care to every mother in Indiana state. For a community health provider, they have a mobile application, and there is a medical device. This is a medical device we built. Using this single device, they could able to monitor vital parameter of the mother, and we could able to measure the stress factor. Are they having any stress? And for a pregnant mother, we have the wearable device, which I will show, culturally designed device. Why we are designing this device is we want to create the mother that whenever she sees this device on her wrist, she don't feel she's wearing a gadget. Second, she should feel she's connected to the hospital partner. Okay, if anything happened to her, there are someone is take care of that, and every activity is shared with her physician. So that psychological effort really worked in India to ensure that they are not alone and they are getting premium care. So that is what we are doing through our platform. This is how the entire model worked in the pilot. So first we onboard a mother, like we plan to onboard 100 mothers. All the mother will get a wearable device and a mobile app to monitor their health parameter. And we onboard 5 home visitors. We provide a mobile application which is called Allo Lab, and there is a medical device. And if the mother is missing the antenatal checkup, our platform ensures that they will get a home visit where the antenatal checkup completed on their home. Because most of this underrepresented community, people are not doing the consistent checkup that leads to have a complication at the time of delivery. With our technology, let's assume like this month I missed my antenatal, but the provider is visiting my home and ensuring that the antenatal checkup at first phase, we are solving that they are not alone. Okay, there are someone to take care of them. That psychological change we are giving to them. Second is post delivery, there is a community platform where they can talk to other pregnant mother in the local community, and they can talk to the home visitors for any support and help, and all their stress activity is monitored in real time. And if there is any abnormality, example, most of the deaths in India are happening because of the substance intake. Why people take substance? When they felt alone and they are in a depression. So our wearable device ensures that if there is any abnormality in their activity, that will be notified to the home visitor, and home visitor to take the action of it. So this is our plan for the pilot. It's a 6-month plan where we want to take a mother and customize our application according to the culture, and run a 3-month pilot to ensure that the software and then wearable creating a real impact for them. Yeah, and submit the pilot report to the Parkview. That's what we are targeting toward the pilot. And this model is more on like a packaged model where the subscription based the mother can pay, and we ensure that they'll get a best care, in-person care throughout their 1,000 days. Thank you so much.
Up next, we have Barry and Nua Surgical.
Good afternoon, everyone. My name is Barry McCann, and I'm the CEO of Nua Surgical. Earlier today, I, along with my co-founders, were fortunate to pitch our vision of a collaboration between Nua Surgical and Parkview, with the joint aim of improving outcomes for both mum and baby. Together, we can undertake a successful pilot study, which will bring our innovative C-section retractor closer to market. Stereocision is a device that will deliver safer outcomes for both by improving access and visualization to the uterus during a C-section procedure. So what problem are Nua Surgical solving? Well, we live in a world where pregnant patients are presenting with more comorbidities than ever before. And these risk factors have led to C-sections becoming the most common major surgery in the world, currently accounting for 29 million births each year. And although a C-section can be a life-saving procedure, it brings a higher risk of hemorrhage, infection, and even death as opposed to a vaginal birth. The unmet need that we're tackling is multifaceted, but the domino effect starts with a lack of innovation in obstetrics and no specific tools that are tailored for C-sections. This leads to poor visibility and access during the surgery, resulting in the need for additional staff assistance and extra hands within the incision. Ultimately, most recent studies have found that a C-section has an 80% increased risk of complication for either the mother or the infant. The difficulty of gaining access to the uterus is magnified in patients with a higher BMI, and this is extremely concerning given that today, half of European C-sections and 2/3 of US C-sections are being performed on either overweight or obese patients. And this upward trend is seen across the globe, especially in emerging markets. These can quickly become challenging surgeries and often lead to longer operating time, higher risk of infection, and extended hospital stay, all of which negatively impacts the clinician, the patient, and the healthcare system. Through our extensive research over the past 4 years, obstetricians all over the world have told us that the existing devices are not suitable or adequate in today's surgery, especially where there's a very different patient demographic to 20 years ago. More importantly, clinicians have informed us of what they want when it comes to a new C-section retractor. So our solution to these technical challenges is stereocision. It is the only self-retaining surgical retractor that's been specifically designed for C-sections and which can also address the challenges of high BMI patients. By making it a single-use disposable, we can guarantee its sterility, which is vital to reduce the risk of infection. Its ergonomic design mimics the natural hand movements of an obstetrician, and the adjustable paddles can meet the need of each patient. Stericision will enable clinicians to safely deliver the baby, repair tissue, and identify bleeds. Ultimately, we're delivering a device that is always sterile, adjustable, and safe. Since 2018, we've evolved through 4 concept iterations of Stericision, and this is following a continuous iterative process. We've completed 3 preclinical animal trials showing functionality and efficacy of our prototypes, conducted human factor testing at multiple hospitals, and extensive bench testing. Ultimately, it is our constant clinician engagement that has led to our current design, and these activities have been driven by our CTO and COO, who have over 40 years combined industry experience. In addition to this, our device is secured with a defensive IP strategy, and we currently have 1 granted US patent, 2 US patent continuations, and a PCT international filing, covering 153 countries. We have freedom to operate reports and have received confirmation from the European Patent Office that all 15 device claims are deemed novel, inventive, and of industrial application. So why now and why focus on the US? Well, unfortunately, pregnant women in the US are at a higher risk of maternal mortality and morbidity than other first world nations. In addition to this, the CDC states that significant inequality exists depending on maternal race, with a Black mum being 3 times more likely to die during pregnancy. Now, we know that approximately 25% of maternal deaths are as a result of infection or hemorrhage, and this is where Stericision could make a real difference. These statistics, in addition to our previously mentioned obesity rates, are of particular concern in Indiana. Maternal morbidity and mortality is a pressing issue facing Hoosiers. And for women in rural counties, the threat is even higher. That is in part due to losing access to obstetric wards. Over the last 2 decades, obstetric wards have closed across the state, creating what's referred to as obstetric deserts. This is why we believe that a collaboration between NUA and Parkview not only makes sense, but could change the future gold standard when approaching and managing obese C-section patients. Our proposed pilot study has been described as a sweet spot for Parkview, as they have the significant experience and knowledge of human factor studies on new medical devices. The summative human factors study is a crucial part of our design, validation, and verification testing, required for FDA submission and which must be carried out on US soil. So this study will have clear parameters with measurable outcomes. We foresee the study being carried out over the period of 2022, commencing with protocol development in Q1. This will also lead to both parties engaging with the FDA for our second pre-submission meeting. In Q2, we would plan an on-site visit to run through test method validation. Q3 would involve clinician recruitment, and in Q4, we'd conduct the study in accordance with FDA requirements. Following our recent visit to Parkview a few weeks ago, we're extremely confident that the physicians and simulation team have all the skills, resources, and facilities required to conduct such a study. Our goal is that Stericision becomes the gold standard retractor for all C-sections. Parkview Health is the ideal partner to support neurosurgical on this exciting journey ahead. And we're extremely confident that will be a mutually beneficial partnership, but most importantly, it will deliver safer outcomes for women and their newborns all over the world. Thank you.
Next up, you will hear from the Maternal 911 team.
So thank you everyone for having us here today. We're thrilled to be here. I'm Dr. Michelle Becker.
And I'm Shelley Benton-Corda, Women's Health Nurse Practitioner.
And we bring over 55 years of experience between Shelley and I in the trenches, taking care of pregnant women on the front line. And Shelley and I recognized a problem where there was a gap in education. And you all know, if you go into an emergency room and have a heart attack, people are there prepared and have advanced cardiac life support. When a newborn is born and the baby has issues, there's a neonatal resuscitation program. And Shelley and I recognized when we were in the trenches together, there wasn't anything there for the pregnant woman. And so Maternal 911 was born.
Maternal mortality is absurd across the nation. The United States from 1987 to the present day continues to have escalating levels. Parkview is seeking solutions that are focused on maternal health topics, which are included in the Maternal 911 program. The Maternal 911 program is available online 24 hours a day, 7 days a week, can be rendered from any electronic device. The learner can start and stop the modules of learning at any point, so they can review or continue as they deem necessary. We also have included simulation algorithms as part of our education, because we know that we have knowledge, but we need to be able to put that knowledge into action. So these imitations get us prepared to do that when a real life event occurs. Maternal 911 keeps providers that are caring for pregnant women up to date, using evidence-based practice to guide their healthcare decisions.
When we look at addressing maternal health, there's a consistent education program is our goal, to have every labor and delivery personnel, emergency room, and emergency medical services educated and up to date with evidence-based information. Shelley and I commit every January. We update every module within our system. And we're super proud this year. We have a maternal fetal medicine doctor who's come on board with us and is helping us with this program. So we're super happy with that. We recognize, though, that there's bias issues, and you see the woman to the right in the slide, and we know that her death rate compared to her Caucasian counterpart in pregnancy is much higher. Some of that has to do with implicit biases. And so Shelley and I created, as part of one of our modules within the cardiomyopathy, because a lot of that occurs with cardiomyopathy issues, racial disparities. And we have a whole module on ethics, and within that is also substance use disorders. And so we're super proud to be able to bring this forth to not only Parkview, but across the nation.
Yes. Those high-risk, low-occurring events included throughout our program include chronic disease conditions that the pregnant patient may have prior to, worsen during a pregnancy, or develop while she's pregnant. It makes the person at the bedside very in tune to what conditions to look for and what needs to be implemented to ensure that this outcome is improved. We have severe hypertension. Michelle mentioned cardiomyopathy. Hemorrhage, sepsis is included in there. Our ethics chapter we're exceptionally proud of. We know that in the state of Indiana, the maternal mortality rate, 33% of those women are associated with substance use. We know that that is not unique to Indiana, that is, nationwide. So we have included that. We've included mental health disorders. That's something that has somewhat been overlooked until we've gone into this pandemic. Women are coming in with mental illness, or they're developing it during their pregnancy. We know that can worsen postpartum and impact the relationship she has with her child and moving forward in her life as well. So those are a few of the topics included out of the 19 we have in our program.
So our plan with Parkview is to team up. We want to recruit 8 users from the emergency department. And we specifically have chosen the emergency department because we know women presenting there with cardiomyopathy are often not treated as appropriately as they should, and it can really help drive down maternal mortality. Next is we'll have these 8 users complete the cardiomyopathy racial disparity module.
Yes, and then once they finish that, we're going to use a 2-point assessment to verify their education using the system usability and the tax load index formats. We will use the information provided from those users to improve and update our module from that pilot feedback.
From there, we'll recruit 12 different emergency department personnel to complete this updated module of cardiomyopathy racial disparity.
We would like to take this information and create a publication to validate how consistent evidence-based education department, hospital-wide, emergency medical system can improve and decrease the maternal mortality rates.
And with that, creating a collaborative that will spread across the Midwest and into other parts of the nation is certainly the goal, to help be a part of the solution in driving down maternal mortality.
And next up, we have Bleed ID.
Thank you, everybody. I'm Michael Schmidt with Bleed ID. As we've heard from some of the other companies here today, it's obvious that it's still far too dangerous for many mothers to deliver in the United States and around the world. Postpartum hemorrhage is the leading cause of maternal mortality globally. And in the United States, we struggle with this much more than we should. Unrecognized blood loss and delayed recognition of blood loss complicates C-sections. And it's been shown that the cost associated with a postpartum hemorrhage and those C-sections can be triple those of an uncomplicated case. And something interesting that we've learned along the way in developing these products is that 40% of hemorrhages occur in the non-high-risk patients. So efforts focusing just on the high-risk patients are likely missing a number of hemorrhages. And specifically, when we look at Indiana, numbers that this group is probably familiar with: 52 maternal deaths per 100,000 births, 28% of these from hemorrhages, and 90% of these deaths from hemorrhages are occurring within 4 hours of giving birth. So problems starting in the hospital, worsening in the hospital, that are not being addressed appropriately. So why is it so difficult to recognize a postpartum hemorrhage that begins in the operating room? Well, it starts with a surgical drape. As you can see here, the drape is hiding the bleeding that's happening underneath the patient on the table. So we started with addressing the drape and then continued to develop a few products to help clinicians in this effort. So introducing Bleed ID, which is a suite of 3 products. The first one is the Bleed ID surgical drape. Simple addition here, a clear window to the top of the drape that allows the clinical team to visualize any bleeding that might be occurring during the procedure. Lets them get a quick visual check on anything that might be happening, understand how significant it might be. Next, we created what we're calling the Bleed ID suction pad that goes underneath the patient. This is a single-use disposable pad that's connected to any hospital wall vacuum source or portable vacuum source. It's constantly drawing vacuum pressure throughout the procedure, so that if the patient does begin to bleed vaginally at any point during the case, it's immediately pulled down into the suction pad and transported into a dedicated canister. This way, the clinical team knows exactly how much blood the patient is losing, and they can easily identify that because it's moved out from underneath the patient. The third product we're developing is the Bleed ID canister alarm, and this adapts to any suction canister and uses a sensor-based system to alert the clinical team when the fluid levels have exceeded these key thresholds. For our team at Orlando Health Winnie Palmer Hospital that we've been developing this with, the thresholds for them are 500 cc's, 1,000, and 1,500. That lets the clinical team know with different alerts if the bleeding is escalating. So Bleed ID is a 3-part blood loss detection system that will aid clinicians in identifying the blood loss that occurs under the drape during these procedures. We believe it will provide enhanced visualization and quantification of blood loss during these procedures. It will allow for early recognition of bleeding, hopefully allowing the team to intervene rapidly before it worsens. We think this will contribute to improved outcomes, reduced transfusions, reduced ICU stays, and overall the reducing total cost of these cases for health systems. And we're also looking at how the suction pad and the canister alarm can be used in the post-op setting, because that's where a number of hemorrhages start after the surgery has actually wrapped up. So we're pricing the drape and the canister or the suction pad here according to being single-use disposable products. The canister alarm system will be a capital purchase. The goal is to have one per operating room or one that can float between ORs, hopefully making this an affordable solution for every delivery hospital. And what we'd like to propose with Parkview is a 30 patient product pilot, most likely with high-risk C-section patients, to evaluate the efficacy of the suction pad, the drape, and integrating that into the workflow. Then continuing to get feedback from clinicians on how this works in different settings, the design, the functionality, the efficacy, and then starting to look at the cost and benefit analysis of using Bleed ID at Parkview. Thank you.
Wonderful job, Michael. Thank you so much. And I just want to thank all of our amazing accelerator teams. We appreciate all of the effort and time that you have put into the last few months working with us. With that, I'm going to turn it back over to Charlotte.
Thank you. So we wanted to give you an update from one of our teams from last year's competition, Safe Sleep Simulation.
Hi everyone, I'm Lisa Clemens from Safe Sleep Simulation, and we were finalists in last year's Healthy Mom and Baby Innovation Competition. So we wanted to share a quick video summary of our Safe Sleep Simulation toolkits with you and where we're at now. Early in the innovation competition, we had the idea to develop a toolkit, and this is what our early prototype for that kit looked like. You see John holding a 3D airway model, as well as us leveraging simulation concepts to educate caregivers on safe versus unsafe sleeping positions. Throughout our journey, we were able to refine the kit to not require expensive simulation equipment and to be more accessible to the average safe sleep educator. So here you see our refined infant model, refined infant airway, as well as mobile application.
Simulation to Promote Safe Sleep is an education toolkit intended to be used as an adjunct to the current safe sleep education that you provide. The goal of incorporating this toolkit is to utilize visual representations and experiential learning to enhance knowledge retention, understanding of why current safe sleep recommendations exist, and increase adherence to safe sleep practices. The Simulation to Promote Safe Sleep toolkit includes both a 3D infant model and a mobile application. The 3D infant model allows educators to address the common misconceptions surrounding infant choking on vomit or spit up in the back to sleep position. We encourage you to incorporate this model in a way that most resonates with your patients or clients. If you need ideas regarding incorporation, the recommended scripting included in your kit is a helpful resource. Next, we'd like to show you an example of a safe sleep educator using the 3D model while providing safe sleep education.
So as you can see with this model, when an infant spits up and they're on their back, due to our anatomy and just gravity, it's going to safely drain back down the esophagus and into the stomach where it came from. But if your baby is sleeping on their stomach in that unsafe sleep position and they were to vomit, see, some will come out of the mouth, but it's got a higher chance of draining down into the lungs. That can be dangerous and lead to respiratory distress and other complications. So that's why it's so important for your baby to sleep on their back every time.
Well, thank you so much. I'm so glad I got to come to this demonstration. When my daughter was a baby, we were told to have them sleep on their belly all the time. And now things have changed, and with my granddaughter, I'm watching her all the time, and so I want to make sure I can do everything possible to make it safe and do what I'm supposed to do. So thank you so much.
The mobile application allows educators to demonstrate the potential physiologic changes that can occur in their infant while in different sleep positions. This portion of the education toolkit is based on the health belief model and aims to convey the perceived severity, perceived susceptibility, and perceived benefit of different sleep positions. We recommend using the mobile application in conjunction with either the 3D infant model or a baby doll. The model or doll may be placed in different sleep positions throughout the home. The corresponding infant sleep position may be selected on the mobile application, allowing the simulated infant oxygen saturation to be displayed for each sleep position. We recommend that you use a schedule that is conducive to your program and the needs of your patients and caregivers. Remember, consistent education is key. finally, we'd like to thank you for your dedication to providing quality safe sleep education and doing your part to decrease infant sleep-related deaths.
Since the competition, we have outgrown our current manufacturing method, secured a new manufacturer, and even made our first sale. We continue to share this toolkit with safe sleep educators and expand the reach of safe sleep education. We're excited to see what the next 12 months hold for us. We want to end our update with a big thank you to everyone who has helped us over the past year to get to where we are today. Thank you to the Parkview Miro Innovation Team, Matter Health, New Tech Academy, and Parkview Women's and Children's Outreach Team. And finally, congratulations to all of the finalists and good luck with your final pitch.
So before we announce the winner of this year's pitch competition, we want to say a thank you to all of our sponsors and those of you who donated through the event app. You make it possible to offer programs like these and to continue to work with entrepreneurs around the world. So we want to thank all of the companies for their hard work during this innovation competition and accelerator program. And now it is time to announce our winner. Drum roll, please. And we want to congratulate Neosurgical for winning this year's pitch competition. Barry, I'm going to turn it over to you for comments.
Wow. I'll start with a wow anyway. Oh my God, I have to say it was extremely nerve-wracking sitting there and watching everybody else pitch because it's so impressive what everyone is doing, and it's really phenomenal. I mean, for us, it's huge validation to progress, to get to this next stage, and to be able to actually have a pilot study with yourselves at Parkview, and yeah, absolutely over the moon. I think our visit to you guys a couple of weeks ago really kind of showed us the abilities and the strength behind Parkview. And maybe coming from Ireland, we weren't really aware of the scale of things and the scale of your healthcare system. I mean, Fort Wayne is just littered with the Parkview logo, and you go beyond hospitals, you're in the community. And I think for us, it's going to be a really, really positive relationship, and hopefully a very mutually beneficial relationship going forward. Definitely want to say to the other 3 finalists, as I said earlier, it's phenomenal, the innovations and technologies that they're doing, and wish them the best of luck. And for us, we're absolutely thrilled to make it through to this next stage, and really grateful to, I suppose, everyone at Parkview and Matter that have given us so much time over the last 3 months during the accelerator. So yeah, thanks a million.
Well, congratulations again, and thank you everyone for participating. And it was a very hard decision, but we are glad that everyone was able to join, and we were able to hear these great technologies that are coming forth. So with that, we also want to give a little update. Please keep your eye out for our 2022 innovation competition via our social media channels. We will be partnering again with HIMSS Indiana and Indiana FSSA again for our Data Palooza. So we want to thank everyone for joining our 2021 pitch competition, and you guys have a great day.